Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back. Now, I apologize for taking so long to post, but this time it's finally for a good reason that I took a long hiatus. Really and truly is that I was testing the deck, and I literally played every single version of Dracoslayer to exist to this date. So it's worth it. So the deck profile is here. It's actually very good. Now, take it from me, Pendulum is not the best deck. It's not going to be the best deck for a very long time. And do not have the high expectation that this is going to instantly win you. Now, you can beat Metadex left, right, front, and center with this, but as of recently, Metadex has been proven to be extremely strong. Like, being able to play 4 hand traps and you have 1 card full combo, beyond ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. I've been getting cooked. And I'm telling you that it's not really like the decks are strong, but like the amount of hand traps, like a normal day, just game one, Velo, Ash, Imperm. So sometimes just Velo, Ash, Nibiru, Imperm, and they always have the Nibiru, mostly because Snake Eyes is the best deck, so they have to main that Nibiru for it, and it just clashes with you. Now Nibiru by itself cannot beat you on any day of the week. This is the only pendulum deck that exists right now that can play through Nibiru very comfortable. You will actually have many options. You can either negate the Nibiru, or you can just take it, or give bait them and then set up your negate. Like the Nibiru doesn't phase you one bit. If they Nibiru you, they're going to look on 10 interruptions after. No exaggeration. Persons thought I exaggerated on that, and then I show them and they're like, "Wait, what?" Yes, so I'll show you guys the Nibiru combo also, because this deck profile is going to be long. I'm going to have to explain everything. So this deck is just for persons who really want to play pendulums at a competitive level. It can beat meta decks quite comfortably. However, do not have the high expectations that you're going to win several tournaments back to back with this. Definitely no. Alright? So there are some cool tricks. I'm going to show you some alternatives. I'm playing a 42 card deck now. There's no physical way to get it less than 40. Oh, sorry, 240, except for one round, which I don't think anybody's going to want. Now, I've played quite literally every single other version out there for Dracoslayers. I've been playing Magic Spectres as well. Everything. I've played everything. Magic Spectres for me didn't work out good because of one reason. I'll explain. Magic Spectres have the syndrome where it's really good because you get to stop certain things and they can't be targeted. Now, you might think this is good, but what actually happens is that they can target the Bunbuku, and I've reached there, so I get to link off into Beyond, and Beyond always gets negated 100% of the time. And then the Nibiru can now affect me because the Beyond was negated and Beyond was supposed to search for an important card. So this, it lost. And then I'm just really bad looking. I entered 3 tournaments, and the first 2, I did not see a single Magic Spectre card. Like, it was mind blowing to persons that they actually saw it in my deck when I shuffled. They didn't see a single card throughout the whole tournament twice. And the third one, even then, I hardly ever draw them. So I just gave up on it. My luck is just out of this world. People who know me, just luck isn't my thing. Alright, so I'm going to run through the deck profile. So we already know we play triple luster, triple Ignis, basically 3 of all the lineups. So triple Majesty, then we have triple Dynamite, and now we have 1 Lectal and 1 Vector. So the test is this. The extent of the deck is Draco Face Off. Now Face Off goes for any of these 2. You just reveal any special. It doesn't even really matter what you get so much. It just matters that you got a free special of a Pendulum Monster. So that's beautiful. Majority of the time I don't need it until I'm actually negated, but it's very good to have. Now sometimes you'll get in some depth spread positions, and if you play 2 Lecter, the effect monster, you're perfectly fine. But here's the catch to it. If you play 2 Lecter, that means that you potentially, if you need a low scale, it's impossible. So I've took out 1 and played 1 Vector, which is also an issue because you can't use Vanilla Monster even if they're Pendulum to go into Beyond. So I can't use this to go into Beyond at any point in time. I have to synchro with it. So persons might think that's not an issue. It is. How many times has it come up? Like once out of 100. So it's best you play the one copy, because there are sometimes you're going to want to see low scale and there's no guarantee because your opponent is going to choose at random. So you can always give them these two, which are the only two low scales. So in the event you're desperate and it does come up, persons do negate you left, right, front, and center. For the monster that you summon with Hieratic Seal, it's going to be Aethel. Yep, Aethel has actually been going on good. One, it's not a hard once per turn, which is very good for me. The other things that I tested were Persona. Persona wasn't bad, it's just that some persons don't go in their extra deck. The next thing you could have played was Sloth. Sloth was very good for a while. However, then persons caught on and they had droplets, Forbidden Chalice, all sort of things that goes around Sloth. Sloth just doesn't hold the field. It just doesn't do it. And one of the funniest things is that they can droplets and negate it and then punch it over with Tempai Dragons and just clear your whole board and punch you for game. Well, with Aether, because I'm going to tribute and bounce one, then Aether is going to summon and banish. They just find a really hard time, and you can also build up their confidence. Make them summon the level 10 synchro, and when they attempt to go into battle phase, ensure you do this in the main phase one. You can Hieratic Seal and bounce their field spell. Then Seal will trigger on summon Aether and banish the level 10 synchro. And they would have normally put in so much resource they can't come back into the game. A next option that I used to play, and I did play at regionals, was that you could have used the Sloth and Lecher Lock, so they can't play spell cards. But here's the thing to it, persons just been out in it. One Kaiju can out it, they can chain Droplets, and don't think Droplets is like a softball card, it's actually really strong. I've put up the entire board and it's been broken by Droplets twice. Moving on, we have Triple Revolution, one Phantasma. Originally I was playing this as a tech, but it's turned out to be very important, as you'll need it to place the 10 negates through the Nibiru. And if you don't play it any at all, it's going to be reduced to about 7. Yep, that's how significant it is. So it's best to play it. Then we have one Arc Dragon, one Dissolver. Moving on from there, we have Triple Joko. For me, I don't like Joko in the deck. The reason why is just that it doesn't do anything. Joko is there, yeah, in case if I didn't draw a super heavy, I can use the combo through him. But from that, in the event that I did draw any of my super heavy, Joko is immediately dead. The card effect, I can add anything here, but I would see 100% of the cards that Joko can search for through the combo itself. I'll see every single one of these cards, whether I summon Joker or not. No joke, I'm going to show you after. Then we have normal stuff you should be playing. One Astrograph, he's MVP and the reason why you can play through Nibiru. And we have, for the super heavy engine, we have triple Wakashu, one Monk to go with him, triple Motorbike, one Soul Piercing. I've reduced Monk to 1 because I've accepted fate. I just always opening 2 of this when I play 2. I just learn my lesson is between I'm just going to draw the 1 and know that I have a low scale, or I'm not going to play 2 anymore and just sit there with 2 in my hand and wonder what the hell should I do. Stop that. So if I just hard draw it, I just hard draw it. Is what it is. Then we have triple Speed Ride Terratop. Along with that, 2 Hex also. Now this is the option that you get, that you can either play 3 Curtain Raiser or you can play the Speed Ride. So it adds this is actually a very damn good card, as it's an extender, and if you pop it while in scale, it special summon itself. So in other words, if you hard draw Sky Iris, you can pop it, your Luster can pop it, and the next copy you special that one from the extra deck back to the field. Yeah, it actually does stuff, so it's actually good. Now the real reason why I played it isn't even because of that, it's because of the severe amount of hand trap situation that you have to go through. So what happens is that when I play Curtain Raiser, I get the Magispectral treatment, where They don't negate it because it doesn't do anything. And then I'd wait for the Ignister to get Imperm, which is a real issue because you want a Link monster up there no matter what before Pendulum Summon. The Link monster doesn't even matter. It's just that you don't want to start from linking from 0 monsters to go up to 3, while you'd have a Link 2 just on the field doing nothing. So yes, it's important to play this just for them to negate it, and if they don't negate it, they'll receive a punish by you adding one of these, which can special summon itself if you pop it. So yes, if they don't stop it, they're going to be in problems. And your last piece of extenders is the triple face-off, and of course you play Sky Iris. Now, persons convinced me to remove face-off and play my talents. This was an extremely bad idea, and I'll never make that mistake again. Whoever told me that was cruelty. What happened is that you drew talents, and talents didn't really do much because it's not an extender. So when I get negated or somehow, and if he got impermed, it's really bad because it can't activate. You're actually in the back seat where it would have been a great go second card. The deck is a hell. I just want to go first at all times, which is extremely funny because how the meta is the Tenpai Dragon players are going to send you first, which is going to be the worst mistake of their life. I haven't lost a duel to that thing, not even one. Yep, the deck is really strong against Tenpai. You have a favorable matchup, and if they make the mistake of sending you first, they're going to look on 12 to 13 interruptions and be like, wait, I can't actually clear the board and kill him. Once they miss on finishing you, trust me, they're done. And the last thing I'd like to note is that the last options for Sphere was to summon this. And you can get a special of one of these if your opponent activates something, and then you can recycle it and keep summoning them because it's a level 7, so you'll always be able to pendulum summon it. This was actually good in theory. It was not bad in practical, but you just don't have the space for it. I'm already playing a 42 card deck. You didn't really have the space for this, but this wasn't a bad option. If I had the space for it, I'd actually play it. Because at the end of the day, who doesn't play Imperm, Effect Veil, Ghost Morno? They always have something that Savaris can negate. And you can always get back hand traps with your Firewall Dragon. You'll always have that luxury. And the longer the battle goes on, the more likely that you're going to stop them with it. So onto the extra deck, we have Vortex, we have Dynastal, Iggy, Dugaris, Spheres, and then for the other links we have Musiccia, Beyond, Exceed, Tragate. And yeah, you know what's actually funny? I was thinking about this card for a good while before anyone started to play it on YouTube. And I actually had a neat little trick that I had known with it, where because you have up Singularity, you just need to get rid of this and Singularity will reborn it, and it's not a hard once per turn on negate. So I was actually the first person on YouTube who actually showed you that you can just use Spheres, tribute and bounce something and pull it right back and it can negate again, which is hilarious because persons think I only have 2 Omni negates, so they think they can beat them and just go. When I bring it back and it be like, oh wait, you can negate a 3rd time? Yeah. Anyways, moving on. We have Jean Grey, this, and Zelantis. Then we have Apollousa, Firewall, and Singularity. If Apollousa goes, I have a built-in mind that can put up a lot of interruptions regardless. Apollousa normally feeds to a lot of it because it's literally 4 months in the gate coming off of it. So it normally contributes to a lot of interruptions for you by the end board. So I'm going to go through the combo for everyone, as majority of you are here for that. So I'm going to use Speedride Terratop and Wakashu. You don't even need Wakashu, you can use Multiback, it don't make a difference. So this is it. Normally, this is just like an average hand, by the way. The reason why the deck is super consistent is because you play 3 Wakashu, so that's basically 6 copies of a starter. And even if you didn't draw any of them, which means that you drew the Dracoslayer engine, the Dracoslayer is the original deck, you can still do full combo. So here is it. This is actually a very common card to draw, but I'm going to need a card to discard. What's extra funny is that if you open a Dracoslayer, this isn't specifically for this version of combo. If you just open a Dracoslayer overall, it means that you won't be required to discard a card, meaning that you'll technically get a router from all of this. So the first thing to always do, especially a turret top, use the effect search. Never summon it in any corner, always summon it in the middle because it's most likely going to be the monster you're going to link off with. You'll also apply its effect, and I'll add Exhauster. I'll now use Bite because it's clear, which is beyond funny because persons never negate Bite, and they always have the Ash, and I'm always there like, if you hadn't done it, it would have ended my entire turn, but they just didn't know what to Ash, so they held off. Anyways, so we're going to use Wakashu, use the effect to summon itself by putting Monk in the next scale. And now we'll use Monk's effect, and we're going to add Soul Piercer. So there's other things that are different in the combos now. I'm not actually going to equip Soul Piercer anymore because it's a free monster body that was actually really good for me. And from here I'm going to normal summon and synchro with both of these into Ignisto. Also, I'm going to summon Ignisto in the corner because I want him out of the way. Because I use Wakashu for a synchro, I can put it back in scale. I can now use effect. I'll get a special from deck. It's going to be What's Her Face. Use her effect. Add Sky Iris. I'm going to pitch Luster. Just for this specific video, I'm going to use Luster. Normally, you can just discard anything. But I'm just going to show you, if you open a Dracoslayer, it's actually stupid good because you're not going to be required to discard any more cards. So now that I've used that, I'm going to link off and I'm going to go into Beyond. Beyond's effect will trigger. I get to add Astrograph. And now it's complete. So even if they Nibiru me now, I can play straight through it. Because what was required is these two cards. So you had to make Ignisto before Pendulum Summon, and you had to have Astrograph in your hand. Those are the two conditions. Everything else, fine. Now it's time to Pendulum Summon. I'm going to summon 3. Don't normally summon even this much anymore. And from here, we can now link with both of these, summon Princess effect, bring back Ignisto. I'll now link off with both of these so that I can not only get an add, but I'm no longer fire locked. So I'm going to get the effect now of Soul Piercer. I'm going to add Wakashu. So this Wakashu is actually important because I'll need it to get back the Astrograph when I use it. And from here, it's a new Ignisto, so I can use effect. I'm going to get the Water Boy. And I can tribute both of them to summon Dynamite. Because I attributed both, I'll get effect to add this back to my hand. I can now use the effect, pitch in itself, and use effect, pull back. Link off. Zelantis effect, everybody's going to banish and summon back. Don't normally do the combo this route. So just forgive me if I slip on anything. Alright, here is it. There's two ways you can do this. You can summon this, or you can just not summon it. But really and truly, it's best to summon it because your Firewall Singularity will have more fuel to bounce back to hand. So you always prefer to have the bounce through if you need it. So from here, what I'm going to do is make space by exceeding into the Garth. I'll now use Ignisto's effect. I'm directly going to summon one of the dragons. That way I can make spheres. So spheres is already ready, I'm going. Now I can use Zelantis effect. My apologies, not Zelantis. I meant to say the Gars. The Gars effect. Pull back. And now I'm going to use Ignister's effect to summon from deck. I don't really need majority of Luster, but there's only one left in the deck because I chose to start with one in the opening hand. So I can summon anything else here. So it's going to be her. And now I'm free to link with these cards and go into my Singularity. The reason why I did Ignisto and get rid of it is because Ignisto is the card I most likely want to see someone back. I can actually now use this effect, pull her back, and link off with both into Grand Sulfur called Musicia. Now, Musicia started off as a tech card that you didn't have to play, but after a while I realized how important it was when I took it back out, because it essentially supplied a +4 because it was going back for Astrograph. So you don't want to give up that +4 advantage under any circumstance. So it's best to play it. If we had Electromite, you can remove it. So now we can activate Sky Iris, pop High Scale, and we'll go for our Revolution Dragon. We'll activate it, use the effect, pop in itself, and get back this onto the field. I think I summoned it on the wrong side. And of course, we're going to drop Astrograph as well and add the next copy of Revolution Dragon. So this is our second one. We'll now use Ignisto's effect, special from deck. Going to get fire, because running low on everything else. Now we're going to link with all three of them into Exceed. Yes, interesting. And we're going to use Exceed's effect. We're going to add back Revolution Dragon. Now we can also use Musician's effect. Put this over here. Get back our Astrograph to hand. So yes, just by having these cards in rotation, you build a board. And this is better than Celine because of this one reason. And it's one reason alone. I didn't require it to be in scale to do everything that I'm going to do. Yes, that's correct. I didn't require it. So I can actually use her effect to get a pullback right now, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And that's the next thing. It doesn't have to summon to a Zodi points to making it a strict upgrade from Celine. I'm going to go into Apolloso from here. So I'll link 4 using 3. I can actually go into 4 because I'm going to have a net plus of a lot. So I can actually go into 4 if I really wanted to. But it's just like you're wasting so many cards, so might as well do it this way. So we're going to use Revolution Dragon now. Pull back Ignisto. I'm pretty sure... Well, Ignisto is always safe over here. And I get to drop my Astrograph as well. So I need to make Firewall. So I can... Whoa, almost forget, add the last copy. Now, I'm thinking on something. You see, because I've already used her effect, I need to clear this zone. You have 2 ways to do this. You can just use Ignis to draw and just pop this and put your Sky Iris into the deck. But the option 2, which is the more skilled play, is that I'm going to use Ignisto's effect to special summon the fire from deck. And I'm going to pop it to shuffle back this in deck. That way, in the event that I just need to bounce a card, the Sky Iris is going to be on field. Now, Ignis effect, because it was destroyed, I get a special from deck. Going to summon the last the last dragon one, because there's no need to have it in deck. is just completely dead there. So now I can link with both of these to go into Firewall. Thank you, Sweetland, for this beautiful Firewall. I don't even really normally care about card rarities, but yes. And here's it. I can pitch both of these to add not only Arc, but I can also add Phantasma. And I can now use Firewall and just get them right back to my hand. So my hand is fully loaded again. And because I already did all this, I can link off with all three of them to go into Trigate. And I can trigger this effect, pull back. Can now activate, put one revolution in scale, pop in itself, to special summon back the Ignisto. This effect will now trigger. I get to special summon Other Eyes, which is going to be Dissolvo. I can now scale this, use this effect, discard a card. I don't have a card currently, but you can just use it to add back, then now effect to fusion someone with them. And summon your Vortex in attack position. Ensure you summon it in attack because things can go wrong. Now, overall, this is a lot of interruptions for coming off basically 2 cards. The discards are, it's neither here nor there. I don't really care. You're not going to need a hand after this. It's not overconfidence. It's more like there's nothing else. I used all 15 cards in my extra deck. My opponent beats me now, they beat everything. So if they win, if they break the board, they break the board. But they have to go through an actual lot. Now, the game plan is this if you're not familiar with it. You have 3 negates on the Apollo. I don't know why I didn't just summon it for 4. Because really, like, I could have just summoned everything. It doesn't change anything. Whatever. I don't know why I did that, but it doesn't matter. So when you're used up these negates for monster, as soon as I use monster effect, you're going to use this. But if they have like a card like the Ubel continuous spell, negate and banish that with Trigate. And when they summon something, you use effect, tribute as cost. Almost 9 to 10 times your opponent is not going to do anything. They're just going to allow the bounce to go through. Now effect, you get to pull it back. And it's reset again because this is not a hard once per turn. Every time it's on the field, it's once per turn, fitting in the whole theme properly. And ensure that you don't use your Fire Princess before doing that. On a realistic level, the board has been broken about 3 times. The first time, my opponent activated some weird Egyptian god card and it tributed my field. It tributed like 3 monsters, then they actually sphere mode me on top of that. So they tributed 6 monsters in total. They still lost. That was the actual funny part to it because there was just so many things. And remember, because this is in my hand, so even if they clear the board, I activate this, pull back Ignisto, this comes back, bounce back a card, there's an Omni Negate on the field. Ignisto can now summon from deck, pop on X fire, shuffling. I could go off like a rocket if they even come through the board. Cool. Now, aside from that, there were twice when my opponent Ostinato and then chain Droplet and discarded 5 cards and stunned the entire field. And I lost those deals. And it was funny because I won the match, but I lost those deals. The board is not unbreakable. And people are starting to play back Dark Ruler no more. So there's no real way for the deck to manage Dark Ruler no more as is. If the Dark Ruler, you're most likely going to lose. The one saving grace is that you're keeping Vortex in attack position. So most times persons forget if that they destroy it. Arc will bring it right back. And this time you can bring it back in defense. So when it's destroyed, you bring it back and no effect will trigger to bounce back a card to their hand. And you have the Omni Negate as well. So don't negate Imperm that targets this. Don't negate Droplets if it's going to be one of them. Completely safe. Because the negate is a hard once per turn. You don't want to waste your hard once per turn by stopping one of those. No. Let it go through. Because it's still a 1-for-1 trade. And you can still get it destroyed and then you can still trigger it. Spheres is always good. Because it can tribute itself in the event that you need it to. Or in the event that your opponent found enough hand traps to stop you. And then at the end of the day, they still have to stare down your Aether Dragon. And of course, we have Promethean Princess Engrave. Can pop your Igniston, pop your opponent card. And of course, we also have Ambler Whale. So if something is popped, you can always pop one of their cards. So they're going to lose. But not going to lie to you, every single time I get a full combo, if I don't see droplets, I'm going to win. So the deck will win, it will completely destroy them. I've never lost a duel to Tenpai using this. As soon as they send me first, I realize I made a terrible mistake when they're still sitting there and looking at 12 interruptions. Normally I up a loser for 4, because all it really would have changed is just one less of this in my hand. Like, what was that really? So normally they would be looking on a board like this. So this is 4 interruptions, then this is 5, 6, 7, this negates and banish. And then I'll use this as 8, tributing this, pull it back, and you can now negate and banish again. So that's 9. This is 10. Princess is in your graveyard, making it 11. And of course, this is in your graveyard yard, making it 12 interruptions in total. If I left this in attack and your opponent even gets over it somehow, they've actually droplets it before and punched it over, not knowing that it would bring it back. So I'd make 13 interruptions because it would summon it back and bounce a card on their field to the grave, to the hand. So it's a lot to go through. I don't really lose when I get the full board, but to the way how things are, I don't really get to see the complete end board. I get to see a lot, don't get me wrong, but Ubel is a particularly bad matchup for this. Ubel is such a bad matchup, they can go second and beat you, because it's very hard to attack them for game. Ubel just has so much built-in protection that you're not doing any damage to them, and that's the real problem. So aside out of Ubel, and the roughest part is, like, they have a monster that summons itself from hand, can't be destroyed by a battle, and it takes no damage, and it's not even a hard once per turn, so you negating it doesn't do crap. So you would have to negate and banish with this. So don't think that you would be perfect. Ubel is an extremely bad matchup for you. Whether you go first or second, you can still potentially lose. Tenpai is a very good matchup for you, and they always make the mistake of sending you first. Well, we're just waiting on the ban list, really. Whenever we get what's ever on the ban list, I hope Electromech comes back. I would really appreciate her coming back, honestly. Don't think that, like, this is the one I'll be all. I've tested everything. There was also a next thing that I tried, which was using this. It wasn't having bad utility, but I just don't banish my own cards, so it just didn't get a chance to get back anything. Also, it doesn't actually help you to play through Nibiru. You get less interruptions, so you have to actually play the Revolution Dragon. And next time I'll show you the combo to play through Nibiru. Right now, as a matter of fact, a Category 5 Hurricane is on its way to Jamaica here and now. So we're just going to lock in and clutch and wait that out. Hopefully everything goes well. I can't imagine it going well. It's a third world country. That's a Category 5 Hurricane. I can't even imagine it this damaging us seriously. But it is what it is. So see you around, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.